All right, everyone, we are supposedly live, but of course we will make sure of that. So give me like 10, 15 seconds or so. And by the way, Biden is not going to be live in this reaction stream. This is from yesterday. I was too busy doing other things to get to it. It doesn't really matter, though. As you can see, they've already been massively ratioed. I have not downvoted the video out of principle because I haven't watched it yet. So we're going to see what weird shit Biden has to say. First, I figured I'd give 5-10 minutes to do a few super chats, though, first, if people want to get those in. Because, of course, yesterday I did not do the Sunday live stream. Again, I was just too busy. Also, there's a little bit of a mini heat wave at the moment, so a little bit different. How am I supposed to wear my leather jacket when it's going to be 82 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, in a couple of days. So it's a little bit of a last blast of summer before fall begins. We're already above 1 BLU, Biden loser unit. By the way, I wanted to address something else really quickly. Actually, I should probably address also. Let me grab my, not notes, but my tags here. Yeah, I'm going to pop this into chat, actually. People can go and have a look at this at 27:49 in this if you want to see Jeff Holiday spurging about me. So link in the chat for those of you on YouTube and on Twitch. Keep in mind, I see both the YouTube and the Twitch chats here on StreamYard, which is great. But I will be trying to use Restream or OBS or something like that in the near future because I do want to have the streams go on Rumble, Odyssey, possibly DLive. I'm looking into all sorts of options because these days streaming, it seems, is more entertaining to a lot of people. It's funny because before it was like, it was a big thing on YouTube when they went from 10 to 15-minute video limits. And it was, one-off videos. You got rewarded for making more videos. Now it seems like either everything is super truncated down to like 30 seconds or 45 seconds, like a TikTok style thing, which is basically a Chinese ripoff of Vine, and you shouldn't be using it because it's spyware, or it's extremely long form, like 2-3 hour long streams. So it seems like it's become bipolar. The old one-off style that I'm best at, or at least primarily did, is no longer really a thing. So I've decided to go in the long form route because it's more entertaining to me than doing like fucking TikTok videos. Much as people would love to see me dance around to, Lana Del Rey or something, it's just not going to happen. Not unless I get completely wasted and, I don't do mushrooms or anything anymore. It's funny because I'm the only person in the Netherlands here who's not Dutch, who doesn't smoke weed. So, yeah, lots and lots of, we've got more than 2 BLUs at the moment. Biden loser unit, 300 live viewers. We'll start in a few minutes with Joe Biden. But again, I'll post the link again here in chat. Jeff Holiday got massively triggered at me at 27 minutes and 49 seconds into this link that I'm about to post. You can watch that. I will be making a video about that, maybe as an exclusive. I don't know. I don't want to give him too much attention, but it is funny to see people say clank in the comment section. So once more, it's there in chat. Sebastian Monroe, a stick stream while on a road trip, super duper. Yeah. Depending on how long the road trip is. This will be a relatively short stream, I think. Partially, I'm just getting a few super chats in because I didn't do that yesterday. I didn't have the Q&A stream. I will this next Sunday probably do that. But we will be looking at Beijing Biden. It's only an 8-minute long video. The reaction time will probably be more than 8 minutes, though. I have a feeling this one, look at the setup. He's in front of a collapsed tree in this picture. And look at the look on the face of the poor interpreter that has to do the sign language. I don't pity them. I don't envy them their jobs. Homeschool dropout. Dems are panicking over Virginia, methinks, already damage controlling by saying Virginia always flips depending on which party is in the White House. Thoughts? Oh, they're expecting the gubernatorial slot there to flip, or the electoral votes or something. That's possible. With Biden, I mean, if Biden decides to run, it might be a 50-state sweep for the GOP, depending on who they run. That's not a huge exaggeration. I can't imagine people are going to want more of a Biden after what we've gone through. Some fagoot. Are we even sure Biden knows where he is? I'm sure he got reminded of it briefly before this address that we'll be covering. Josh and Jesus, what would you do if you ever run into your arch enemy, Stones? Oh, Sticks and Stones. Well, Sticks and Stones aren't enemies. No. They're allies. They're both trying to break your bones. And then words are the arch enemy of Sticks and Stones. Imagine a 52 state win. Sticks start an ammo company. Yeah, with all the regulations, that'd be hard, but it would be, that'd be lucrative right now. I think the ammo companies are purposely not ramping up production as much because they're enjoying the higher prices. Why bother doing that when you can simply, if you get 5 or 6 companies making like 90% of the ammo, all they have to do is not up the amount. It's just like OPEC. The prices go higher and then they make more money with less effort. Why would you want to expand further? They achieved an economic equilibrium. Oh, by the way, yeah, I figured I would cover this. Some people on new tech sites were mad, actually, that I made a Twitch channel. There was a couple people on Odyssey that seemed flummoxed about that. I would just point this out. I'm a content creator. I create content. That's the long and short of it. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I push new tech every single day and have now for several years. I've done my part and I'm still doing it. But at the same time, if Twitch is a good streaming service, stable, there's nothing wrong with it. It might be a leftist echo chamber, but why shouldn't I go there and try to pierce the echo chamber? Maybe I can change a few people's minds through clever satire and ridiculing people like Beijing Biden. I wish Bernie Sanders would do a live address or something. I'd ridicule that too. Then that'd get you some hate on Twitch probably. Paracelsus Underrock, the New York Fed Reserve suspended its GDP tracker. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm not surprised though. Black Raven, what will the Halloween moral panic be this year? Probably people dressing up as Dr. Fauci or something like that, and pretending that the candy is contraband medicine. Jack O'Neill, Godspeed to ADA. Hold on for dear life to the moon. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of Cardano. I was very, very pleased at Litecoin's movements in the last 24 hours. I have quite a bit of Litecoin. I can't remember exactly how much, but it was a considerable jump. I think like 10%. Words, you're my arch enemy, Sticks. It's on when I see you. Yeah, there's a fly here that the cats magically have not decided to kill and eat like they normally do. And so it's vexing me slightly. Yeah, but I haven't heard anything about the Virginia political races that are going on right now. I should probably look into that. I've got to look into Gavin Newsom and the recall too, because they're trotting Kamala Harris out. That's a sign definitely that they're scared, right? you wouldn't be bringing the third tier hitter on board if the primary one weren't hazarded. They can't bring Biden on board because they know he's unpopular. At that point, it's almost a rebuke of Joe Biden, because it's like if you're not putting him there at least for like a couple of events when he's clearly got the time to do that, if only for optics' sake. Kamala, I wouldn't want her stumping for me. F, loved the video when the construction crew turned their back on the presidential motorcade when the president drove by them. Yeah, that sort of thing is common regardless of who's in office. People did that to Trump too, so, you know. J-Dog, what is your favorite Dutch food? Almost all of the Dutch food I've tried, I've liked. I like Hodding, the real Dutch way with the pickles and onions. Liz didn't, I think that I would like it. It's fucking Jesus Christ. I'm not Hillary Clinton. Go away. I like Bitterballin, I think, best, though. And Toasties are good, although their idea of a Toastie is really grilled cheese, specifically Caprese style, and then dipped in ketchup. The New England way is you dip it in tomato soup. Tomato basil, creamy tomato, regardless. The Arcadian 300. Canada announced 5 million mail-in ballots. Should we be worried about that? Yeah, you should. Yeah, I think that's a problem. We should be banning that in the civilized world because it's a crazy idea. Precedent neglect Joe Biden. Come on, man. I'm in my jammies, of course. Yeah, no, he's in a loose-fitted shirt there that is about 2 sizes too large for him. His wife dresses him, though, so it's not his fault. Nobody can blame him. Yeah, I'm going to try to kill this fly. Come on. It thinks I'm Hillary Clinton. I'm not that far gone yet, am I? Got to look at him. I got to buy a mirror sometime. Get some plastic surgery, I suppose. But yeah, there were some people that were pissed that I got on Twitch, and I'm like, it is a streaming service. How's that any different than if I stream on Rumble? I know some of these new tech sites have a problem with them because they stole some of the thunder because Trump got aboard Rumble after negotiations with them. I'm not looking for free speech purism wherever I happen to go. I'm just going to speak freely wherever I happen to go. That's why I still use YouTube. Certainly, the more free speechy the site is, the more I feel positively towards it, and the more I'll try to drive people to it. Like, I'm not going to make a video every day saying, hey, you should get on Twitch. It's really great, man. That's a streaming service. People are here to, if you're here, you're presumably here because you want to see me ridicule Joe Biden, not because you're concerned about Twitch or YouTube being free speech sites, because they clearly aren't. Khalid Cooper, 1999, no comment, thank you. Santa Mira, love your edition of the Chaldean Oracle of Zoroaster. Will you be writing anything about the Yazidi religion? There is actually one book that I do mean to edit on the Yazidi. It's a very old one. It's about 100 years old. I can't remember the exact title of it. I started editing it a while ago, and it was taking a while because there's a lot of formatting issues. However, and this is another thing I can announce, I do now have a new formatting system, and it makes it easier to edit line by line by a considerable amount. We're talking 20–30% increase in speed. So yes, I will be doing a work on the Yazidi fairly soon. That's in the plans. Among a million other works, I've got like 300 source files to plow through at this point. By the way, to everyone, I will be reacting to Joe Biden. Right now, I'm taking a few super chats beforehand because I didn't get to it yesterday. So I figured I'd allot a few minutes for that. King Salmon Fish, I'll be making a video on thirst trap economics, exploitation of desperation in modern society. Desperation value is huge. OnlyFans, offer alternative. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was still attractive, I'd look into OnlyFans. Just joking. Ooh, jumped. That fly, sticks trying to kill me. Yeah. Trippy liquids. I'm kind of jealous Biden is probably getting to sample all kinds of weird new custom-made amphetamine compounds the public will never know about. The public probably does know. He probably uses the basic ones. He's probably a basic bitch and just snorts a line. I think that ice cream is his main drug of choice, though. Yeah, people saying that they would pay if I made an OnlyFans. I don't think Liz would be too enthused by that. To be clear, I don't want to ban such sites, but I mean, that doesn't mean that I think that they're moral. It doesn't mean that I think that it's ethical. And for some corporation to be taking a cut of the profits for someone to show their vagina is like, I mean, there's mainline porn for that, I suppose, and that's a little bit, it's basically faux independent content creation when you think about it. It's the same exact thing. It's just a slightly less professional, so-called, and then they take more of a cut potentially too. Black Raven, Dave Cronenberg's The Fly. Was that the one with Vincent Price? Because I've seen that. Well, maybe that's a different movie. Yeah, Vincent Price was in something called The Fly at one point. So a really great movie, by the way. Can't remember any of the other actors and actresses, but it was a good movie. Part of it reminded me slightly of a less funny Arsenic and Old Lace, actually. It's about a dude who's called The Fly and, breaks into homes and is killing women and stuff like that. The story is slightly convoluted. It doesn't. There are some parts to that movie that are very campy and don't entirely make sense. But I mean, would it be a Vincent Price movie if everything were above board? Have you seen House on Haunted Hill? That's like one of my favorites. That's easily one of my top 10 or 20 favorite movies of all time. George Soros, stop talking sticks. You're ruining my plans. You're trying to get people to watch all those mainstream movies so that you can get your cut, George. Triggers McNickers. I cannot assume incompetence at this point, when those with close financial ties to China seem to be sabotaging America's role as world hegemony. Yes, they are. CRT, by the way, is a big part of that. I will be with Lev. I will be talking about CRT, I think tomorrow or the day after, actually. With Paul Rossi, actually, aboard, who I've heard of before. Black Raven, Jeff Goldblum was in it. Oh, he was a young Jeff Goldblum was in that? I would never known. Jeff Goldblum's a cool dude. Fart Sausage, do you think the erection frog will be universally known? Then what? No, it's unfortunately already a dead issue, technically. Paracelsus Underrock, MatPat is trying to become the new Jeopardy host. They should just get rid of Jeopardy. Without Trebek, it's not the same. Stop trying to revive it. Don't bother. Get Joe Biden to host a guest episode. That'd be funny. Was that in the form of a question, man? I don't know. Oh, shit, I just asked a question. I guess Corn Papa loses $500. Die herself. Do you have any works on doppelgangers? I need info and can only find 4 paragraphs related ad infinitum. Big thanks. I don't think I have any work on that subject. I do remember it being mentioned in shit. I think it might have been the vampirism work by Osborne Eaves, Eaves. You can get that for, I've got a paperback version on Amazon, but you can get it for free if you want digital, by A. Osborne Eaves. I think that mentioned doppelgangers. I think. I do remember around that time I did edit a work that had a section on that. I think it was his work. And by the way, Osborne Eaves, he takes up Leadbeater's idea of vampires being technically real in like the corporeal sense, as in actual reanimated corpses. So it's one weird hell of a work. It's definitely worth a read. Look it up. I can't remember the exact title, but it's by A. Osborne Eaves. And I think it's Osborne with an U, as opposed to like Ozzy Osbourne, I think. Lev Polyakov just came in when you mentioned the CRT stream. Yes, it's tomorrow, Tuesday at breaktherules.tv. Paul Rossi is a New York City teacher fired for opposing CRT. Yes, thank you, Lev. Yes, I will be on board that tomorrow. And that's going to be one a good fucking chat, I think. But yeah, after a couple minutes here, at maybe 20 minutes in or something, I'll start reacting to crazy Biden. Ozzy has you? Okay, maybe then it's without you, I guess. Yeah, when did Styx learn sign language? Ah. At least this section of Twitch has Styx for the time being. This politics category was completely taken over by leftoids. Well, that's because a lot of people, it's just like, you know how people that are on the left, they won't use Gab or they won't use Minds or BitChute or something, because they've been told that it's an echo chamber of people that are on the far right. And so it does turn into a right-wing echo chamber because no left-winger wants to use it. At least left-wingers have no, because they're afraid that they'll get targeted for doing so as like, you're aiding the enemy, you're helping a site that's full of Nazis and stuff. I think the same thing happens with Twitch. Twitch gets taken over by a bunch of leftoids, people who are right-wing, or, I'm not, but commentators that aren't on the left, don't want to use it because they're afraid of the reaction of their audience. Well, I'm not afraid of anyone's reaction. I'm going to speak on as many platforms as possible. So we're breaking the conditioning. We're puncturing the echo chamber, which is supposedly a bunch of Tumblrites. I guess they all went to Twitch when Tumblr, banned suggestive content. Now, if they want to see cleavage, they have to do gamer girl streams. Stephen13, anti-communism is the new punk rock. It always was, actually. Look up G.G. Allen or Johnny Rotten. Lev Polyakov, when I go vacation to the Netherlands, where should I eat? That depends on where you're going. If you're going to the Amsterdam area, there is a restaurant called the Breakfast Club, which is in Sloterdijk. It's not far from the airport, actually. Not very far. Very, very good. There's a place on our campus in Diemen, Zweden, which is quite further out, called Margarita's. They have really great pizza and stuff, and it's legitimately Italian pizza. It's not Brooklyn style. It's the stuff you'd get if you went to like Tuscany or something. Really, really great. It's a college campus sort of area though, like student dorms, so it's kind of hipster-ish. The mixed drinks are a little watered down. The pizza is definitely not. Yeah, there's a million restaurants here. Like even here in Enschede, which is, it's a city, but it's not nearly as large as Amsterdam. Holy, it's no food desert, that's for sure. All around us, there's nothing but good restaurants, and we've only eaten at a few of them. OMG, it's Angry Gaming. Hey, Styx here in South Jersey. All cities are crap here. Well, I mean, you're in Jersey, so. Jersey. I'm assuming you mean New Jersey and not Jersey like in England or wherever it is. Twitch audiences largely don't get into politics. Pepe is a huge, huge meme here, and they don't know about what the MSM says about it. Well, that's good. Excellent. Yeah, I will respond. By the way, someone the other time I was streaming was like, well, do you have to pay Sticks in order for him to respond? No. It's just that I use the super chats in slow mode because otherwise when you get almost 2,000 people watching you, you get so many comments, it's impossible to keep up with them all. Even with YouTube filtering things like automatically, like beyond what I would ever filter. By the way, there is no moderation on my Twitch chat room thing. So you can say whatever you want. Just, don't get yourself banned unless you don't give a shit. Shutun Dohi. Got any works on Chinese or Tibetan magic? I wrote a thesis on Chinese paper talismans last year and always looked for more sources I may have missed. That sounds extremely interesting. I've never seen anything on Chinese talismanic magic. There were a couple of works on Chinese religion that I edited. You can go to the Tarl Warwick Books blog, either on WordPress or Blogspot if you want to see the works I've released. Those would probably be under the religion header. Some may be under the academic header. I've edited so many works, hundreds of them at this point. I get mixed up a little bit. I need to make more categories. I will be doing this after I get to the 400th edition, which is slated for sometime next year. This year, the plan is to get 350 or beyond. Carry it over. I will be completely reorganizing the blogs and probably making a literary website solely for the literary works, just to organize everything in one spot and have it look nicer. I'll probably have a standalone website just for the literature because it's so much of it. John Paul Bordeaux at Morgan Joyzy. What about the baby's body autonomy? All right, are you addressing another person or me? I'm assuming you're addressing me because I'm pro-choice. Yeah, I've run up against some people in my own audience on that, and that's okay. I think that when you don't debate about a woman's bodily autonomy, but there is a vigorous public discourse over the autonomy of a fetus at whatever point, apples to oranges. What I would say is just this. There are people praising the Texas abortion law. So in other words, they don't have a problem with abortion. They'll still be occurring before 6 weeks. They only have a problem with it based on heartbeat. Well, that's no different than saying, well, until the baby is kicking around and has brain function, I don't have a problem. So the first couple months is okay. At like 12 weeks, though, we got to cut it off. These are arbitrary in nature. They're because of human emotion. Unfortunately, if you're talking about laws, you have to talk about civics. You have to divorce them of emotion in order to make sound judgment. And that's what I do as a libertarian. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. Check your mailbox. Adrian Jones, what are your thoughts on the Proud Boys? Well, I think, I don't really have any thoughts at this point. They've kind of disappeared. They were used as a boogeyman by the lamestream media to try to demonize Trump, mainly. I don't think that they're terroristic in nature. I know that it's fashionable to throw people under the bus sometimes and pretend that everyone is a terrorist that CNN says is, but I don't play that game. I've spoken to people who are like, Proud Boy adjacent. They never seem to be violent to me. It's like Richard Spencer. Supposedly he's a boogeyman. He doesn't seem violent. These days he practically worships communism. So they should, I think he's trying to get Antifa to adopt him as a member at this point, actually. Oh boy, wouldn't that be funny? He puts on the black mask and starts burning a Wendy's. Yeah, I saw that the Q shaman got sentenced. It was funny because I was bickering with a leftoid on Twitter who was like, well, ha ha ha, so much for your it wasn't an insurrection thing. He got a felony charge. Then you look into what the charge is and it's like obstructing Congress. Okay, so not criminal assault, rape, murder, attempted murder, arson, nothing like that. No, obstructing Congress. That's the felony charge. That's no different than getting a felony charge because you had an ounce and a gram of marijuana in the wrong state. It's total horseshit. Shouldn't be a felony. Shouldn't be a crime. Fuck Congress. Obstructing Congress. The best obstructors of Congress are Congress people. The Amazing Atheist. This is hard to admit, but I steal from old ladies. I don't think that's the real Amazing Atheist. just so that we're aware. I know, because otherwise he'll say I'm harassing him if I mention him and don't point that out, probably. One time, actually, this was hilarious. The Amazing Atheist one time claimed that I was, like, threatening him. I can't even remember exactly what it was about, but it was some horse shit, like, I had made a joke about something he had posted, and he got all weird about it, and his fans were all flipping out, and I'm like, dude, you think that I'm threatening you? What the fuck are you talking about? By the way, I will post one more time the link in chat here to a YouTube video that Jeff Holiday made, and at 27 minutes 49 seconds in, he goes off on me because of a BitChute exclusive, actually, in which I talk about facial recognition among children and the use of masks, which of course had to be New Tech exclusive, but I'll post it in the chat now. So you can check that out if you want. Now, in a minute, I'm going to go and get a drink of water really quickly because I forgot my lime water. And then I will be back to respond to Joe Biden. It's one-liner time. Aren't you all excited? This is like the best part of the day, too. Like, it literally, being able to sit here with thousands of people watching and ridicule Biden and ratio, by the way, the White House is like the greatest feeling ever. I could do it all fucking day. If I get a better setup, and trust me, in the future, I want to get a better stream setup, like, 4 or 5 different sites. Trust me, I will be doing this more often because this is hilarious and deserving. I'd love to react to Trump streams and stuff too. What I need is to hire somebody, I guess, to just collate live streams and the times that they'll be on local so that I can do this more often. That's what I'm talking about. But I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Let me get my lime water and a few other things, and then we will be ready to talk to Joe Biden and hear him stammer on in front of this upended tree, which, by the way, that was probably a carefully chosen filming location. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say probably this was not coincidental that they're in front of the tree roots there. By the way, upended trees like that, you should see all the mushrooms that start growing on their roots the subsequent year. It's like a paradise. After you have a storm, year later, 2 years later, mushroomers, oh man, people like me who are into mycology have a great time. You'd be surprised what you can find out in the North Woods. But anyway, I'll be back in a minute here, and then we'll go listen to Beijing Biden rant and prattle. Lime. Don't want scurvy. Give me my citrus. Enter stage left. Alrighty, let's get to some Beijing Biden here. Last super chats, go through them first really quick. This one, Grant Levy, just want to know your thoughts on MGTOW. I oppose it. It's just the male version of third wave feminism. It's pathetic. MC, do you think the Democrats are scared that Biden is doing so bad they will lose the midterms? Oh boy, are they scared. They're so scared they sent Kamala down to California to help Newsom. When you're sending Kamala to help someone politically, yeah, there might be a little bit of fear in the air. DG Property Management. Background clanking. Sounds like a gamer making coffee in between games. All right, let's get to Joe Biden. So here's Joe Biden talking about, oh, one more. Lapco92, thoughts on the Oklahoma rep that went to rescue people in Afghanistan. I don't think it was a stunt. He's rejected a federal salary. Also, a shout out to my friend Mandy, stuck in New South Wales. That's not a good place to be stuck, that's for sure. I don't have any real thoughts. It doesn't seem to have been a stunt, which is good. So doing what Biden can do. There's still at least 19 Americans stranded in the Kabul airport and hundreds more potentially throughout Afghanistan. This could turn into a Jimmy Carter hostage crisis, which would just be the icing on the cake, which has been a disastrous first year for Beijing Biden and his asterisk administration. But we'll get to Biden now. Let's hear him in his own words.
Let me start off by thanking folks here in this neighborhood for letting me come in and see what's going on. Councilman, thank you for everything. Folks, look, I'm grateful for the governor.
Centaurian84 is a trance music fan. It was hilarious to watch scenes of the Dutch protests with the ravers playing trance. Yeah, I saw that. There were huge protests in Amsterdam the other day. Chris Primer, didn't Biden say something to the effect, if I ever got into an argument with Kamala, I'd fake an illness and resign? Yes, although the context is missing there. I think he was genuinely joking there.
They're asking me to come on down to visit and to see what...
Oh, yeah. Turn up the volume. Well, it's up all the way on here. Usually the system volume doesn't affect it.
Visit, and I want to thank
Is that better?
Leadership as well. You know, we just came from the Emergency Operations Center here in St. John's Parish, and we just walked this neighborhood. I'm going to finish walking it up that way as well. But the fact is that you know, there's a lot. We just to see just exactly what's happened on the ground, see what's going on in people's homes.
It's low volume at the moment. Here, let me refresh this then and see if there's anything.
Let me start off by thanking the folks.
Maybe that's better.
Let me come in and see what's going on. Councilman, thank you for everything. Look, I'm grateful for the governor asking me to come on down to visit and to see what.
Here, I'm going to try maximizing my system volume, and let's see if that helps. I'm going to have to do this though. It's going to be blaring on my fucking end.
And I want to thank him for his leadership as well.
Tell me if that's louder.
We came from the Emergency Operations Center here in St. John's Parish, and we just walked this neighborhood. I'm going to finish walking it up that way as well. But the fact
no louder. Okay, so it's the YouTube volume's fault then. This is Biden's fault then. There's no way that I can make it louder, I believe. I could try to fiddle with the settings on here. See, I don't think there's anything that I can do. Hey, we'll troubleshoot this really quickly. I think that it's their fault though. Let's see. There's nothing I can do on StreamYard itself. I know on OBS you can probably boost it some, but. Grant Levy, Joe Rogan COVID thoughts. It was very, very funny when they were trying to indicate that he had become massively sickened with by the medicine that he took that I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Yeah, I'll open my volume mixer. Yeah. That may help.
Fact is that you know, there's a lot. We just.
If that doesn't work, there's nothing else that I can do.
See what's going on in people's homes. A lot of people fear, for example, because they don't have cell connections, are unaware of what available help there is right now to get them. The FEMA director and I were just talking.
Yeah, if there's no change, then it's hooked to the YouTube volume, definitely. That's always, well, I mean, keep in mind, he's doing an outdoor presser right now, so there's going to be a bunch of fucking background noise and shit like that. You got to understand, they're technologically illiterate. He's already had a couple of audio glitches as well in this stream. We've only just started listening to it. By the way, they chose a spot where the sun would be shining right in his eyes. Now, because he's had eye surgery several times, he already tends to, like, he does the squinty thing. It's even worse now. Like, how does he even see what the fuck he's supposed to read? Vash 115, greetings from Uruguay. Glad to catch your stream. The world needs more political streamers that are yet to be indoctrinated. Yeah, some people are saying that it might be on the end of other people. If you're turning me down, the problem is I can't reduce my input. There's no way for me to actually do that on my end, not with StreamYard. So if I'm louder and he's quieter, you're just going to have to up it to hear him more. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's not going to say anything interesting. DG Property Management, does VLC Media Player stream? I don't know. I can hear Joe like 4 or 6 decibels lower than Styx. Well, that's because I'm inside and I'm right in front. I'm actually speaking at the microphone. He's outside leaning off to the side routinely. So, I mean, I can't help the fact that they didn't set up properly for this. They probably just found a down tree and they said, well, this will be a good backdrop. Put the podium here. And it's probably all they did, which is why the sun is shining right in his eyes. This is considered good by White House tech standards, it seems.
We're going to make sure we have someone coming through here, going door to door, letting people know what's available to them right now, because they're online.
See, they're having all sorts of audio problems.
Members of Congress, community.
See, it's not my fault. It's literally their fault. He just dropped out for the 3rd time in this. It's only been a minute in. He's dropped out 3 times too.
Leaders, all the folks that are here, we've been working together to deliver millions of meals and liters of water. And I know you're all
millions of meals, but only liters of water. Dehydration kills 15 people in Hurricane Ida zone.
all are frustrated about how long it takes to restore power. It's dangerous work. 25,000 linemen from around the country have come here to Louisiana to help.
Yeah, look at the ratio.
32 different states are helping. And 2 of them lost their lives in the process of trying to get power back up. And we're working 24/7 with the energy companies who we met with the heads of today, and we're deploy even more federal resources, including hundreds of generators, and there's more to come to restore power as fast as we possibly can, faster than anything happened during Katrina. And we're also working on the cell phone with the cell phone companies so you can call your loved ones, call for help regardless of where you are. Make sure you're the people you know and you love, you haven't been able to talk to lately, be able to know whether they're okay.
Joe Biden still thinks that people make phone calls. As a reluctant smartphone user who has other people who use smartphones that contact me, even text messaging at this point is like passe. Even that's like, oh, that's so like 2012, man. Everyone uses apps and shit like that. Nobody makes phone calls anymore, Joe. He probably thinks a phone call, you have to still crank the phone up to give it electricity first before you make the call. Like those old manual phones. He thinks that they're still like manually dialing, like rotary phones and shit.
We're moving quickly to keep gas flowing to the pumps.
He made sure to fly in a bunch of Victrolas so that people could listen to their favorite music. all the Oompa hits of the 1930s. Under the Anheuser-Busch by Mercury Records. Just Mike. Trump was full of win. Biden is full of lose. Yeah, I would say so.
I've gone into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That's what's been set aside. The crude oil, providing flexibility for how many hours truckers are able to drive and transport gas and fuel, because there's.
Hey, have you heard of this new song by Jerry Lee Lewis? RZ Fuchs, 200 RUB. I have no clue what denomination that is. Is that, I don't know, rubles, maybe? Russian? I don't even know at this point. It's funny how they don't convert it into US dollars for the purposes of the person looking at this. Or I suppose on my end, it'd probably convert it to euros, but that'd be, I could kind of understand how much it is. I don't even know anymore. I never liked MREs. Used to keep 4 cases in my truck. MREs are great, some of them. Some of them, not so much. Like, if they're made in Estonia. Trust me, I know from experience. Isaiah Smith, this administration is as disastrous as their press conferences. The Lord of Laughter howls in delight at their ineptitude and their commentary. Keep doing the Lord's work, Sticks. It's definitely low-hanging fruit work in name only at this point, because Biden is a self-satire. I mean, fucking look at the backdrop that they choose. A fallen tree, like, probably leaning on someone's house or something. Hey man, we'll give you some money. We'll give you $500 extra on top of the $500 that we pledged to people in the storm zone if you just let us make the conference in front of your dilapidated house. Oh, okay.
The law in America. You can't drive for safety reasons beyond so many hours a day, but we need more movement of this fuel. And we're expanding the supply of gasoline that can be sold in the state of Louisiana.
Now, he said that a few days ago, and I find that funny because he's the one that shut down Keystone XL. In the initial stage of his administration, the asterisk administration, as I call it, one of his first things to do was attack the energy sector. So which is it? Is oil the devil, or is oil going to save all of these people with generators and stuff like that? We need more fuel, but yeah, I mean, domestically produced, fuck that. We're going to get it from Saudi Arabia or Canada or something. RZ Fuchs, yeah, it's Russian rubles, and Joe Biden is not well. See, a person from Russia just donated to me, so now Jared Holt is prepping a new hit piece as we speak. I appreciate it. Don't worry. We'll deal with Jared.
And there's much to be done. We're working around the clock. With the
I always compare Jared Holt to Jared Fogle, the dude that did the subway stuff, and then he got put in prison for fucking a 13-year-old. I say, Jared Holt is weak. He still has to pay for his footlongs. Fogle gets them, he gets them for free in jail. Just Mike, Biden's looking for a kid to sniff. He's running low. Yeah, he splattered a bunch of them in Afghanistan as part of his drone strike. Nathan Stang, hey, Sticks, best thing I like about the Texas bill, lefties leaving Texas and not moving here because good strategy to protect red states. Yeah, that's one unintentional effect.
Governor and the elected officials here until we can meet every need you all have. In fact, reports suggest that some insurance companies may deny coverage.
There you go, another audio glitch.
Unless the homeowner was under a mandatory evacuation order. And so you paid your insurance premiums. You're supposed to get payments for additional living expenses in case of an emergency. Well, but the insurance companies are saying, no, we won't pay you what we owe. Well,
he's back on this old shtick again, because some people, they had junk insurance plans that made it quite clear if a mandatory evacuation is not issued, we are not responsible for paying out, in some cases, anything, and in some cases, the full amount for the damages done. They signed the fucking contracts. It's the insurance company supposed to do. Screw all of its other members, say, oh, we're jacking everyone's premiums up because Biden insisted that we pay off these people that had junk plans. You know what that would cause? Everyone would want the junk plans because they're cheaper. They know that the president will just bully the companies into giving them money anyway if something goes wrong. Great way to fuck over a bunch of companies and all the other policyholders, by the way. But I mean, Biden is just playing up to the leftoid base when he says that. By the way, yes, they have announced they're giving 500 big-ass fucking bastard dollars to anyone who had significant damage to their homes. Now, that $500, how many nights in the motel is it going to actually provide for? Especially when all the motels are full of people with similar situations. Hope you got your room already.
Putting as much pressure as we can. We know all the parishes that issued strong voluntary evacuation orders first, and many didn't have enough time to make that order mandatory.
That is full-on baloney horseshit. They had plenty of time to issue mandatory evacuation orders. A lot of places simply decided not to issue them. Now, if I'm an insurance company, I get 100,000 fucking policyholders in a region, and an evacuation wasn't issued. I got another 1 million policyholders in areas that did. Okay, am I supposed to screw over the ladder, limit the amount I can pay out to them, or go bankrupt and not pay anything out, get a golden parachute probably from Beijing Biden, because I decide to pay those other people that I don't technically owe anything? They sign the paperwork. They're supposed to read it. Wouldn't you think it's like, would you do anything major? and this is rhetorical. Most of you will say, of course I would, and some of you are like, whatever. If you were going to undertake anything major in the legal sense, something that potentially takes or gives you a huge amount of money, wouldn't you read the fine print? Wouldn't you at least try? Hey, yeah, you want this house? Okay, it's 70 grand. Here, shake hands on it. Oh, you find out actually there's like $100,000 that you actually owe because you didn't read the fucking contract. You know, people, maybe this is the reason we need more remedial English courses in schools. But Biden, I mean, he can barely speak on a good day. So, Grant Levy, check out November movie Pagan. Weird, you might like it. I think I heard of that, actually. I think that was recommended by several people in the wake of asking for movie recommendations a while ago.
As the storm moved so fast. And you know, even with voluntary evacuations order, folks felt safe.
By the way, he is still definitely slurring more than he was a few weeks ago. This is the third stream where he just doesn't sound the same as he used to. I think he had another mini stroke or something. I genuinely believe something is deeply wrong health-wise. Kamala must be happy about that. It's the only way she'll find herself in the presidency, other than sucking her way to the top. And Willie Brown's not the president, so that doesn't work. Yeah, Bill Clinton's not in office anymore. Coconut 7 Joe Manji with the Jeff Holiday thing. My last job was a GMP auditor for pharma companies. Unless a mask is a medical device, it ain't stopping nothing. Yeah, we can't talk about that too much on YouTube, though, or maybe Twitch. I don't know.
In many cases, no one fled this killer storm because they were looking for a vacation or a road trip. So
Joe speaks from experience here, I'm sure. Of course, some people decide to say, well, my job's not going to be open. Hey, the restaurant I work in is under sea level anyway, so, hey, kids, we're going to Disney World.
Oh, folks, they left their home because they felt that they had to flee the risk of death. There's nothing voluntary about that. And so I'm calling.
So in other words, a voluntary evacuation order is, for Biden's purposes now, an involuntary evacuation order, even though it isn't, for the purposes of leaning on insurance companies to pay out to people they don't know. That's going to work really well. They'd be crazy to pay out. I urge them not to pay out at all. You go ahead and give mercy and clemency to the people that are policyholders, but don't bend before Joe Biden. That's crazy. He'd be screwing over 9/10 of the people that hold policies with your company. Stealth Creations, thoughts on Iowa governor passing mandate or order to have COVID be listed as endemic rather than pandemic as seasonal. Is this helpful or not? Well, it is endemic. The WHO, the CDC, every major university in the Western Hemisphere agrees it is now endemic. You will never get to zero caseloads. There's nothing to be done about it. People should go about as normal. No COVID passports, none of this horse shit, which is what it is. It's not helpful. It's not going to save any lives anyway.
On private insurance companies, don't hide behind the fine print and
the technicality. You signed this policy. It explicitly states we don't have to pay you jack if there's no mandatory evacuation, and your politicians, of which some are Democrats, by the way, didn't issue it. What the fuck are we supposed to do? They don't make the policies. Alamandorius, hey Sticks, made it down to Gettysburg a few hours before my battlefield tour, so glad to have something worthwhile to watch until it's time. Speaking of masks, did you hear they did a study? They tout it, but it doesn't say what they think it does. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're using some wiggly words there because of the TOS on YouTube and Twitch. No, I didn't actually see any new studies on masks, but I know what you're insinuating, and I agree with it. Have fun at Gettysburg. Make sure to take lots of pictures, and if you see any like little wisps of smoke or two leaves in the wrong direction, it's automatically a ghost. You'll be able to put it on some ghost hunting forum and get people freaked out. I mean, it's Halloween. Just to be clear, as soon as September rolls around, as far as I'm concerned, it's Halloween for 60 days. So,
Joe, your customers, cover temporary housing costs and national disasters. Help those in need. That's what we should all be doing now.
Does Biden realize how much it would cost to take several tens of thousands of families and not only host them, but pay off their policies? Who do you think absorbs that cost? It ain't the taxpayers. It's the other policyholders, Joe. Other people that in some cases they have at least minor home damage. Well, they'll be paying twice as much on their premiums, I guess.
Now,
Whoops.
And that's what we are doing. So far.
Jamie Jew, Sticks, you're the #1 watch person on Twitch politics. Love it. Oh, I'm trending on Twitch or something right now. I find that, I mean, there's only a couple hundred people watching. I guess Twitch politics mainly is just, you know, people saying leftoid stuff. They get more competition. If I'm the only person who's non-leftoid on the platform, then I've got free reign to do whatever I want, I guess. Dono Fret, Kamala's first executive order will be to make sucking comments a hate crime. Yeah, because of course it's sexist.
We have provided $100
More audio
million
problems
in critical assistance directly to people in Louisiana by putting $500 in their bank accounts.
Woo boy, $500. I'm sorry that your home got completely destroyed. There's not even a single piece of brick or wood left. Here's $500, guys. Hey, vote for me in 2024.
They contacted us.
That's gonna work.
Backing, let all you people know exactly how to do that.
Dude, some of these people had McMansions. They'll wipe their ass with $500. And by the way, I mean, they're still homeowners. They're still screwed if they're in the area that didn't have a mandatory evacuation issued. Shouldn't the politicians know about these policies and say, well, we might want to issue the mandatory evacuation anyway, just so that policyholders in our constituency that pay us and vote for us can get their payout? It's their problem.
Happen. And secondly, as a governor's request, FEMA is helping.
Yeah, Benjamin, you're pointing out a good thing there, Benjamin. What does a new window cost in the USA? $1,500. No, not quite that much, but $500 will cover a window, a mid-tier window, a door, a new coat of paint on the charred remains that are left behind after the hurricane completely obliterates your home. You can plant a few trees to replace the ones that fell over. Wow. I mean, $500 is nothing to shake a stick at. If someone offers me $500, I'll gladly take it, but it's not going to repair your house. It doesn't last as long as it sounds on the nose, especially with inflation. So technically, he's offering them like $300, considering how much less money is worth since the beginning of his presidency.
With what fancy phrase, transitional.
Destiny pulls in some viewers, but it might be RuneScape. Yeah, I know a lot of political commentators, they don't actually do straight up political commentary because, and now the new thing is they'll play games, put it under gaming or something, because I think the algorithms are more fair to people who are under gaming. I think there's a reason for that. And then they'll do the political commentary and chats and shit over that. I've thought about doing that some too, because I mean, people seem to like it when I was playing Minecraft and doing commentary. That was years ago. And I mean, I can always do Fallout or something like that. I'm waiting for Fallout 5, by the way. I don't care if you say that Fallout 4 was shit. I think it's a good game. Siding with the Institute at this point. Just replaced a window last month. $3,000 for one window? The fuck was the window made of? We got, back in Rutland, got a whole shit ton of windows done. It was $8,000 in total. But it wasn't one window. It was like a dozen of them or something like that. And even then, like, you know, it's not high quality windows or anything. It's very, very basic. They are expensive. I'm not streaming Fallout 3. Fallout 3 really, in retrospect, more disappointing with the exception of certain RPG elements.
Shelter in a system, meaning a place for you to be safely able to sleep at night and be secure. Like covering your hotel bill, you're racked up because you couldn't stay at home.
Well, Joe, why don't you build them camps like you have at the southern border? You can have 100 people in a single room, give them space blankets so they look like burritos, which is obviously an ethnic swipe at the little brown children there that Biden secretly hates. Why don't you do that? It's a lot cheaper, right? Have little plastic shields between cells and, you know, to stop COVID, supposedly. Desert Hamster, Fallout 4 was bad. New Vegas had a better story. Maybe so, but in every other way, it was inferior.
During the hurricane, or because your home is not livable now. Relief is equitable for those hard.
They can't even get the audio right.
The resources they need have to get to them. And so no matter who you are, if you live in an affected area, please visit disasterassistance.gov once you're able to use your cell phone.
Once you're able to use your cell phone. We're trying to get those cell networks to work together for once. We're trying to get things working. Dude, how long has it been? It's been almost a week. You still don't have the networks up. These people don't even know that they're owed 500 big fucking ass dollars.
Or call 1-800.
Yeah. No, I will debate to the death about New Vegas. New Vegas had some advantages, but it was also somewhat smaller than Fallout 3. And compared to like Fallout 4, modded, of course, modded Fallout 4, it's not as good. I really did like Fallout 4. I realized there were plenty of problems with it, but one great thing about Bethesda, this has nothing to do with Joe Biden. One good thing about Bethesda, if you look at 3 and then you look at 4, it seems an awful lot like they had a team of people looking at the mods that people made. If that happens for Fallout 5, I think you'll see a lot more RPG elements in the game. If that happens, it'll be one of the greatest games ever created in the human history. Especially, I mean, you know, the new generation of gaming is almost photorealistic when you look at the graphics. They're, I think, at some point going to approach the end of the capability of really improving them with current technology with regards to screens and things like that. Other than going in the VR direction, at some point, there's a cap on that. That means that you're going to get the games that are just bigger and more in-depth, which is what I want. I want to be able to build my settlement on top of a skyscraper and have a bunch of robots and shit. I want to rebuild society. It's like in Fallout 4 at the end of the game, you've made a difference on the Commonwealth, but it doesn't really roll over to anything long-term rebuilding society, so to speak. For Fallout 3, even less, regardless of your decision-making. Seong-sation, quick sticks, you must create a wizard's portal to get the rest of those Americans out of Afghanistan. Yeah, I mean, that's more likely than Biden doing it. Amber Bird, what are your thoughts on General Milley saying he was angry at Afghanistan? He's a cuck. He's a little pussy. He also wears a lot of makeup. He probably wears panties too. Matthew Phillips, you sure they want the audio to work? Yeah, I mean, they're doing an outdoor conference because they wanted the fallen tree in the background. They're like, oh, this will work just fucking fine. Isaiah Smith, leave Beijing Biden alone. He remembers like yesterday that $500 could get you 40 acres and a mule with enough left over to get the tools to build your own cabin and family-style chicken dinner. Yes, a chicken in every whatever, man. Ya boy, little pickles. Fallout 4 remove the durability of weapons and armor. Great addition. That I was iffy on. I still think they could work it in and do a compromise. Hat and hoodie. I'm looking to get a different cell when my current iPhone tab expires for obvious reasons. What type of cell phone do you have? I literally don't know. I don't know what kind of smartphone I have. I just basically, Liz helped pick it out, and you know, it's basically just for emergency calls and for, you know, it's hooked to the Google account so that, you know, if you get locked out, you can do the thing there. The thing, hey man, Google's got a thing, it's called a phone.
621 FEMA, FEMA. That's 1-800
FEMA
621-3362. And folks, Hurricane Ida is another reminder that we need to be prepared for the next hurricane. And superstorms are going to come, and they're going to come more frequently and more ferociously.
Climate change. There were never big storms or anything before humankind decided to mine liquefied dinosaurs. He probably still thinks that that's where oil comes from. And he is a relic of the 60s.
I've been working closely with the governor and our colleagues in Congress in both parties on my Build Back Better plan that will modernize our roads, our bridges, our water systems, sewers and drainage systems, and power.
Notorian, hey Sticks, sorry for downvoting the Texas video. As a Christian, I disagree, but I have so much respect that you stick to what you believe in. Well, I thank you for that, and it's okay if you downvote the video. You know, if you genuinely disagree, you genuinely disagree. I just think that people should get along and have discussions as opposed to jumping down one another's throats, which is, I mean, I know if you're on Twitter or something too long, you think that was discussion.
Power grids and transmission lines to make sure they're more resilient. I walk through the backyards here. So many telephone lines are down. So many telephone poles are down. So many of the way in which we transmit energy is lost because
the way of which we transmit energy. You mean electrical lines, Joe? Tesla coils? The Pony Express shipping batteries door to door? Telegraph poles.
Telephone poles. We know for a fact if they're underground, they're secure. costs more money. We got to not just build back to what it was, put the same old poles up. We got to build back better. We got to build back more resiliently. And we got to make sure we do the same thing.
Okay, if he's suggesting burying the power poles, that actually makes sense. That might be the first thing in his whole presidency that he said that actually is sensible. See, if your infrastructure bill were we're going to bury all of the power and fiber optic lines in the country, well, that's great. Also, those poles are an eyesore anyway, and it uses a lot of lumber. Yeah, they should put them in the ground. My home village of Woodstock did that long, long ago. The Rockefellers actually moved in, hated the telephone poles, and decided to bury everything. Here, there's no electric poles other than some high tension wires in some places. They buried them all. Of course, it's easier here because you never have to worry about a deep freeze. Parts of the U.S. would be a little bit more difficult. We could do that. Well, he actually said something that's sane, which means that it won't be in the infrastructure bill, of course. Grant Levy, check out November movie guy from Human Centipede, in it about pagan stuff. Weird, you might like it. Human Centipede was a good movie. Human Centipede 2 is even crazier. If you haven't seen that and you're squeamish, you probably shouldn't. If you haven't seen it and you like to be titillated by random wanton violence and extreme gore and depravity, yeah, Human Centipede 2 is definitely for you.
Across the board.
I liked it.
Think about how that $760 million West Shore project here in southern Louisiana will build miles of new levees, pumping stations, and drainage structures to provide protection for 60,000 folks in the area. It will change their lives in future storms. I told the governor that he has my full support, and I mean it sincerely, he has my full support to get this project done. And folks, I know you're hurting. I know you're hurting.
Not like me in the White House.
Charles, who I visited earlier this year, are still hurting from Hurricane Laura.
Dude, you spent the entire weekend in Delaware taking a double lid day.
I want you to know.
After this, he took 2 days off.
And with regard to Lake Charles, I've put in a request in the budget to provide for help for recovery for Lake Charles as a consequence of Laura. And
by the way, people asking about movies, you didn't hear it from me, but there is a site called ActVid, ActVid, where you could potentially find and even potentially dubiously download pretty much any movie you can think of. You didn't hear that from me, though. I'm not suggesting that you use that. You wouldn't copy a car, now would you? Sebastian Monroe, that's what I like about Styx. Unlike a certain fatty who will ban you for disagreeing with him. Yeah, amazing atheist. Yeah, imagine hundreds and hundreds of clankers banned in the course of a half hour because he was spurging out. And then he was claiming that I had a problem. I'm watching him with bemusement the entire time, laughing my ass off. Oh, by the way, funny story, actually. Speaking of laughing your ass off, so we've only got 45 seconds left of Joe prattling on. This is great. Earlier, I was going to the Jumbo, right, which is a store here in the Netherlands. And there was a car waiting to get out of the parking lot, and they started inching out, and then another car came whizzing around the corner, and the person pulling out couldn't see because there's a van in the way. And the other car honks, and he slams on the brakes and backs up. There was this old dude on a power scooter in the bike lane next to him, and he saw this, and he pulled out of the bike lane. He started laughing his ass off, and he had a deep voice. He was like, oh, ha, 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 like a maniacal laugh. Oh my God, I almost lost it. I was like, I'm gonna piss my pants laughing. I had to literally bite my lip walking into the Jumbo, otherwise people would think I was fucking crazy and losing it. Oh, it was great. Green Luigi, hearing his say, build back better, is like a movie character saying the name of the film in an unironic sentence. True. Lev Polyakov, well, your garden vids are great. Any book series you recommend on small family farming and thoughts on grand solar minimum affecting climate? I don't know that affects the climate, although there's some literature to suggest a possible causal correlation. The Book of Woodcraft by Ernest Thompson Seton is good for survival tips, but I don't really actually have any books on home gardening, I think, in recollection. But I mean, they're out there. You can just look it up on archive.org. You can find 10 trillion books probably on any subject known to man.
Delta, 2 storms that they still haven't gotten the needs that they met that they have. This isn't about...
They haven't gotten the needs that they met that they have. Okay.
A Democrat or a Republican. We're Americans, and we'll get through this together. We just got to remember, we not only have to build back, we have to build back better than it was before. better than it was before. So when another superstorm comes, it's not the damage done.
Here's another audio break.
But
what a stirring
every time
speech.
I'd walk out of my grandpop's house up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, he'd yell, "Joey, keep the faith." And my grandma.
His grandpa would tell him to keep the faith all the time. And this is a very stirring moment. And this is why he's a great dude. Just ignore the 10 kids he droned in Afghanistan.
The real, no, Joey, spread it. Let's spread the.
Let's spread the. The audio problems. Oh boy. Oh, that makes life all worthwhile. Alamandorius, disaster. I broke my $7 hotel sarsaparilla. What did I miss? Also, is it bad that I tormented Review Tech USA one day about the fair and true election? No, it's good. Aren't they cucks? Review Tech, I think they sold out. A lot of people have done that lately, including a lot of independent commentators. I think they realize that the money is in pretending to be reformed. I have supported Trump, but then I saw the light. Now I'm a card-carrying liberal. Grant Levy, November, check that movie out. Take a look at it. Hat and Hoodie, where do you get that little Sticks figure behind you? This is from G Sticks. He actually makes these little figurines. I've got a couple of others. People like it. I think it's 3D printed. G Sticks by Anthony Gray, Jefferson, Kentucky. Or Jeff, Kentucky. I'm not sure if that's an abbreviation. But yeah, you can, I think he does commissions. I'm not 100% sure. We were looking into the possibility of having some of these made, and the bottom plank here, I would have signed it before they were fully assembled. But then I looked into shipping costs, and I said, well, unless you want to market them for a lot more than the average person's willing to pay, I don't think that's going to work till I'm back in the U.S. Yeah, I love my little backdrop here. I've also got the minstrel show off to the side. I only trot that out occasionally. You know, there's little, you know, racially tinged figures over there. I thought that was hilarious. It was at a secondhand shop that's nearby here, actually. And I figured, well, this will piss people off. Why not? Anything that antagonizes people is good for them at this point. People need to be antagonized 10 times more. But anyway, I'm going to end the broadcast now. We're going on an hour 10. Did some super chats, which is good, catching up for yesterday. Of course, had to ridicule Beijing Biden, which is really easy to do. I'm hoping that Kamala goes live soon. I want to ridicule her because then I can do my Squidward impression. That's the best. You took down the Minuteman flag. No, actually, there's nowhere to hang it here because this wall, I can't put a nail into this wall. It's cement or concrete or some shit. So I would have to get little adhesive hangers. I want to do that, but, you know, I have a million things to do. So, yeah, and it's being pointed out again, Biden definitely is slurring his words more now than he was a couple of weeks ago. It's not a meme. It's not a joke. I almost feel sorry for the dude because, I mean, if he had a ischemic attack or something, you know, that's not fun. But he's not as with it as he was. And look at the people around him. Like, they can't handle tech. Couldn't get the lighting right. They couldn't get the audio right. They can't get anything right. Every fucking thing that they do is wrong. It's a microcosm of the entire Biden presidency. But yeah, I'm going to go off now. And you all take care. And there'll be more streaming soon. Don't worry. We're not even remotely done yet. Wait till I branch out on other sites. I'll be getting on Rumble and Odyssey at the very least in the near future. That's about all. Peace out.